The skies above Earth were calm. Blue oceans shined. Cities buzzed with life. People laughed, worked, and dreamed. They had no idea that something terrible was about to happen. Far above, in the center of the galaxy, the Galactic Council held a secret meeting. It was not a normal day. All the powerful alien leaders sat in silence. The room was cold. Tension filled the air. The name on everyone's mind was the same: Earth. Humanity is growing too fast, said High Chancellor Victor. Of the Drax Empire, they learn quickly. They do not follow our rules. If we wait longer, we will not be able to stop them. Others nodded. The humans are dangerous, said a tall insect-like alien. They spread their ideas to other races. Some of our own people want to be like them. Another alien leader slammed the table. They made peace with enemies. Fought for centuries. They trade, they teach, they share. But they do not listen. The vote was quick. 12 said yes. 2 said no. 1 stayed silent. The decision was made. Earth was to be exiled, cut off from the galaxy. Without warning, ships appeared above Earth. Giant council warships. They blocked the skies. They jammed signals. They disabled satellites. Earth's leaders were caught off guard. President Amina Chen stood in her command center, staring at the red alerts on every screen. What is happening? Are council ships over every continent? Her top general shook his head. No warning, no demands, just silence. Then a message came in. A hologram appeared. Showed the cold face of Chancellor Victor. People of Earth, he said, you are hereby exiled from the Galactic Union. All your rights are revoked. Your trade is ended. Your worlds are locked. Your name will be removed from the star charts. You are to remain in isolation. This is the will of the Council. The hologram ended. No explanation, no reason. People around the world panicked. News spread fast. Ships returning from space were not allowed to land. Earth's colonies lost contact. Trade ships vanished. Within hours, Earth was alone. We did everything right, said an old scientist. We followed the laws. We helped them. Why would they do this? No one knew. Some believed it was a mistake. Others believed it was fear, in secret, deep underground. A small group of humans met. They called themselves the Exiles. One of them, a man named Elias Ward, stood before the others. He was calm. His eyes were cold. They cast us out, he said. It's not because we are weak, but because they fear what we might become. A woman spoke. What do we do now? Elias looked up at the screen where the stars still shined. We disappear, he said. We hide, we build, we prepare. Let them forget us. The room fell silent. Then Elias whispered, one day. We will return, and they will see what they feared. It was nothing compared to what we became. Months passed. The people of Earth learned to survive on their own. They fixed what the Council broke. They grew stronger, smarter, more united. But something else was happening in the shadows. The exiles had left Earth. They took with them secret technology, lost knowledge, and dangerous science the Council had tried to bury. They disappeared into the void, into uncharted space. No one heard from them again. For a while, out in the dark, beyond the edge of known space, a signal blinked. It was old Earth code, very old. One word repeated again and again. Prepare. The galaxy had moved on. Months turned to years. The name Earth slowly faded from conversation. The Council believed they had removed a threat. Most species believed humanity had been broken, forgotten. But something was happening in the shadows. In the cold edges of space, where no stars shined. Where no trade ships traveled, fleets were vanishing. It started small. A pirate ship went. Silent, then a mining freighter never returned. A border patrol lost contact. The Council blamed raiders. Accidents, space storms. But it kept happening. One by one, entire groups vanished without a trace. Captain Lures of the Council Scout Fleet was sent to investigate. His ship, Avernus, arrived at a silent star system near the galactic border. It was once home to a small, outlaw base. Now, There was only wreckage. Ships were torn apart, weapons melted, no signs of survivors. "What could do this?" asked his second officer, staring at a broken battleship drifting through space. Luris narrowed his eyes. "No weapons known to the Council do this kind of damage." The sensors blinked. "Sir, we found a message," the crewman said. "It was carved into the side of a metal panel, scorched by heat. This is only the beginning." Captain Lurez ordered a retreat. Back at the Galactic Council, leaders argued again. "This is the work of some rogue power," said one. "We need to send a larger fleet." "No," said another. "This looks too precise. These aren't random attacks. They're warnings." Someone finally asked the question everyone feared. Could it be Earth? Silence fell across. The Chamber Chancellor Victor stood slowly. "Impossible. We exiled them. Their technology was weak. Their fleets were small." Another voice replied, "That was years ago." In the dark of space, a single ship moved like a ghost. Its design was smooth, black metal. No markings, no sound. It did not need light to see. It did not need permission to enter systems. It was a scout, but not one the Council had built. Inside, machines worked quietly. Human minds guided them. This was a ship from the exiled fleet, built in silence, hidden from all sensors, powered by ancient energy, found deep under Earth's crust, and from alien ruins long forgotten. One of the human commanders, a woman named Kara Rains, stared at the glowing star map in front of her. "The Council doesn't know we're back," she said. Her crew nodded. "They don't even know how much we've changed." In a nearby star system, a Council military outpost picked up a strange signal. It was weak at first. Then it grew stronger. One word repeated again and again in an old human language. "Remember." The signal was traced, but when the Council ships arrived, they found only silence. Then, from the shadows, black ships appeared. They made no demands. They did not fire first, but when the Council opened fire, it was a mistake. In seconds, the entire fleet was disabled. No deaths, no explosions, just quiet shutdown. Engines froze. Weapons failed. Gravity vanished inside the ships. The black ships left as silently as they came. News spread fast. Whoever this was, they were not killing, but they were warning worlds. Across the galaxy began to panic. Some whispered, "It's the return of Earth." Others laughed, till a second, larger fleet vanished. No one survived, except for one message, left in burning letters on a destroyed moon. "You feared us. You were right." Deep in a hidden base far from any known system, Elias Ward watched the reports. He was older now, his face lined with time and duty. Beside him stood Kara Rains, several other commanders from the exiled fleet. "Our scouts have tested their defenses," she said. "We're ready." Elias nodded. "Soon," he said, "but not yet. Fear grow. Let them remember why they cast us out." He turned to the window. Stars stretched before him. "They thought we would fade, but in exile we found purpose. We found power." He clenched his fist. "And when we return, they will understand. Exile was their greatest mistake." The galaxy still didn't know the full truth. Most believed Earth had vanished, destroyed, forgotten. Earth hadn't died. It had been reborn in silence, stronger, smarter, and far more dangerous. In the dark corners of space, far beyond the Council's reach, the exiles built their future. Elias Ward stood inside a massive hangar, deep within a hollowed-out asteroid. Around him, giant black ships stood ready, silent, cold, and deadly. They had no markings, no lights, but each one held weapons never before seen in the galaxy. These were exile ships designed using human creativity and alien science, the kind of technology the Council had once feared, and now had every reason to. Beside Elias, Kara Rains studied. A display screen showed dozens of hidden shipyards spread across forgotten star systems. Engineers worked without rest. Drones moved in perfect lines. AI minds kept everything running. We've grown fast, she said. Faster than anyone thought possible. Elias nodded. That's because no one was watching. No rules, no limits, only purpose. Back on Earth, things had changed too. Gone were the days of weakness. After exile, humanity had united. No more borders, no more fighting between nations. Earth became one people with one goal: to survive and return. Underground cities were built. Space elevators reached high above the clouds. New ships left every week, heading into the dark with supplies and workers. The people knew they were not just building for defense, they were building for destiny. Children learned about science. In survival from a young age, everyone had a role. Even old men and women taught history so that no one would forget what had been taken from them. They didn't speak of revenge, they spoke of justice. The exiles had found something else to done. A lost system at the edge of the galaxy. They discovered ancient ruins, not human, not council-made. Inside, they found powerful energy sources, strange machines, and technology that had been buried for thousands of years with it. Earth scientists created new kinds of power, ships that moved without fuel, shields that could bend light, weapons that used sound, gravity, even time. This was not just progress, this was evolution, and it was all kept hidden. For now, one day, a new fleet returned from deep space training. They had no names, only numbers. Fleet Commander Juno 9 walked into the command chamber. Her voice was calm. We're ready. Elias stood. The time he had waited for had come. He walked to the front of the room and looked at all the commanders, engineers, and pilots standing before him. Years ago, he said, they feared us. So they exiled us, shut their doors and turned their backs. They thought it would break us. He raised a hand and pointed to the map showing the galaxy. But out here, we became more than they ever imagined. We didn't fade. We didn't fall. We rose. The crowd stood in silence. We will not attack in anger, Elias said. We will not destroy what we can protect. But we will show them humanity is not a mistake. We are the future they feared. That same night, across a dozen star systems, exile scouts were launched. Their mission was clear: enter council space, remain hidden, watch, learn. If seen, they would not fight. Not yet. They would leave a message. And that message would be clear. Earth has not forgotten. In the council's homeworld, Chancellor Victor paced in his private chamber. He had received strange reports, energy readings, distress calls, rumors of ships that vanished in seconds. He still refused to believe it could be Earth. They are gone, he told himself. We made sure of that. But a small part of him, the part that remembered Earth's speed, its hunger to learn, its unmatched will to adapt, felt something different. Fear in a quiet part of space. A merchant ship drifted peacefully, then without warning, every light on the ship flickered. The engines went silent. Screens went black. The crew panicked. Then something moved outside. A giant black ship passed by, slowly, smooth, silent, massive. It didn't fire, didn't speak. But on the merchant ship's cracked screen, a single message appeared. We are the exiles, and we have returned. Mining colony on 012 had always been quiet, far from any major trade route. The small rocky moon was home to only a few hundred workers. They mined rare crystals, lived in metal shelters, and watched the stars at night. No one expected trouble. That changed on a cold night when the sky turned black. It wasn't a storm. It wasn't a ship from the council. It was something else. Unknown object entering orbit, shouted the radar technician. Manager Selen ran to the command center. The monitor showed a massive shape slowly moving above the moon. No lights, no ID, no sound. What is that? Selen asked. No one could answer. The ship was unlike anything they had ever seen. It didn't use normal thrusters. It didn't respond to calls. It moved as if space itself made way for it. The miners watched in fear. Some ran, some froze. Then something even stranger happened. All systems on the mining base shut down power. Lights, communications, everything. And then, a message played on every screen. Earth remembers. Panic spread quickly. Selen tried to send an emergency signal to the council, but the comms were dead. He stared at the giant black ship in the sky. It didn't fire. It didn't move. It just watched. After 10 silent minutes, it vanished. No engines. No sound. It simply faded into the stars. A week later, the video was leaked across the galaxy. People everywhere watched in shock. The message Earth remembers sent chills down their spines. Some called it fake. Others whispered they've returned. In a council meeting, the leaders argued. "They're using fear," said one ambassador. "They haven't attacked anyone," replied another. Chancellor Victor slammed his fist on the table. "They show up without warning, shut down systems, and leave messages. That's a threat." An older council member spoke softly. "No, that's a warning." On a peaceful planet named Sevra, citizens saw strange lights in the sky. Council fighters were patrolling the area. Suddenly they vanished. No explosions, no signals, just gone. Moments later, a message appeared in the sky, formed by moving clouds and particles of light. "We are not your enemy, unless you make us one." Back in Exile Command, Elias Ward watched the footage. The message was received. Kara Rains said beside him. Elias nodded slowly. "Now we wait. Should we begin contact?" she asked. Elias thought for a moment, then said yes, but carefully. On a neutral moon station known as Trade Post 7, a ship docked that no one recognized. It didn't belong to any known species. Its black hull shimmered with strange patterns. No weapons were visible. Out walked 2 humans, dressed in dark gray suits with no logos, no names. They walked calmly into the trading hall. Aliens stared. Some ran, others froze. One of the humans, a man, stepped forward. His voice was calm but firm. "We are not here to harm anyone." A large alien guard pointed a weapon. "You're from Earth." The woman beside him answered, "Yes, we were. Exiled. We survived." The hall went silent. "Why are you here?" someone asked. The man replied, "To see who still remembers what justice means." Then they turned and walked out. Minutes later, their ship vanished without a trace. That same day, the Council's emergency fleet was launched. 100 ships, full power, full weapons. Their mission, track and destroy any exile ship on sight. Chancellor Victor gave one order. No more messages. No more fear. Wipe them out. But deep down, even he was afraid. What the Council didn't know was that the exiles were ready. They had wanted this. For every Council ship launched, the exiles knew its path. For every strike prepared, they had a defense. They didn't want war, but they were done hiding. Some alien races began to ask questions. Why did the Council exile Earth in the first place? Why are they back, but not killing? Are we following the wrong leaders? Elias Ward stood before the exile, fleet dozens of black ships, lined up in perfect rows. He sent a message across every open channel in the galaxy. It played in every language. On every world and every star station, we were cast out because we were different. You feared our ideas, feared our growth, but we never stopped. We didn't come to conquer. We came to remind you we are still here, and we are not alone anymore. The Council had made up its mind. They no longer cared about warnings or messages. They didn't ask why Earth had returned. They only wanted to stop them, fast and forever. Chancellor Victor stood at the war table with top commanders. "They dare to move through our space," he growled. "They send messages instead of missiles. That's not peace, it's power." One general nodded. "We've launched the strongest fleet we have. They won't escape this time." But deep in his heart, even the general was unsure. No one knew what Earth truly had, or what they had become. The fleet moved fast. 100 ships, full weapons, shields active, engines burning bright. They were heading for the Darafor system, where an exile ship had been spotted, but they were walking into a trapand. They didn't even know it. The exile ship in Darafor wasn't running. It waited alone. In the dark, it looked small compared to the massive fleet approaching. A single black ship, silent and still. "Target locked," said the council commander. "Ready to fire." The order was given. All weapons fired at once. Lasers, missiles, plasma bolts. The exile ship disappeared. For a second, the council fleet thought it was destroyed. Then, everything stopped. Inside every council ship, alarms screamed. Lights shut off. Engines failed. Weapons froze mid-fire. Artificial gravity went wild. Crews floated in confusion and fear. Then, a voice played across every screen. "Calm, cold, human. We disabled your ships in under 6 seconds. No one is dead. No systems are damaged. But now, see, the exile ship reappeared right behind the council command cruiser. It hadn't run. It had moved through folded space, using technology the council didn't even understand." The voice continued. "You thought we were still the same. That was your mistake." Back on the council homeworld, panic spread. The fleet had been disabled. Without a single shot from the exiles, not one human had died. Not one council soldier was hurt. And yet, the exiles had one. A senator shouted, "We must talk to them now." But Chancellor Victor refused. "No. They're using fear to control us. We'll build a new fleet stronger." Another senator replied, "Stronger than what, Chancellor? They didn't attack us. They ended us without killing." The room fell silent. On a neutral world called Solari Prime, something even more shocking happened. A group of exile humans landed and brought medicine, food, and repair bots to the locals. A disease had broken out. The council had sent no help. The exiles cured it in a day. The people began to ask, who are the real leaders now? Elias Ward watched everything from his command ship, the Obsidian Crown. Reports came in. 1 council fleet disabled. 3 neutral planets offered support. Thousands of aliens requesting alliance talks. Tara Raines entered the room. There, losing control. Elias looked at the star map. Good, she raised an eyebrow. What's our next move? Elias answered simply. Show them mercy and show them strength. In another council sector, a second fleet prepared to strike an exile convoy. But this time, the exiles didn't wait. Before the attack began, all council ships were surrounded. 3 exile ships appeared moving like shadows, faster than any eyes could track. Instead of disabling the fleet, they broadcast their location live across the galaxy. Millions watched. The exiles didn't fire. They simply opened a communication line. A human woman appeared on the screen. This fleet is here to destroy us. We will not fight unless they attack. But the galaxy must see who strikes first. The council commanders hesitated. The whole galaxy watched. No one fired. Chancellor. Victor threw a monitor across his war room. They're using honor. Mercy. They're making us look like tyrants. A young advisor spoke up carefully. Sir, maybe it's not just how they look. Maybe it's how we are. The Chancellor's face turned red with rage. Get out.
Out.
But the doubt had already spread. The mistake was clear now. The Council thought exile would destroy Earth. But exile had made them stronger. They didn't come back for war. They came back as something greater. And now, the galaxy was beginning to choose. Across the galaxy, the whispers grew louder. People who once feared Earth were now remembering the truth. They remembered how humans had helped rebuild war-torn colonies, how Earth doctors had cured diseases others gave up on, how human engineers fixed ships and stations without asking for anything. The Council said Earth was dangerous, but now many were asking, was that a lie? On the peaceful planet Jaloris, an old alien historian named Sen Tal opened a hidden file from his past. He was once a young ambassador to Earth. Decades ago, he remembered Earth's cities full of music and ideas. He remembered the kindness of a human teacher who helped him walk again after an accident. And most of all, he remembered the day the Council decided to exile Earth. I should have spoken up, he whispered. Now he was going to. Sintao recorded a message and sent it to every public network. I was there the day Earth was exiled. The council feared them not for war, but for freedom. The humans asked too many questions. They created too much change. They didn't bow. They didn't break. So the council cast them out. The message went viral. Billions watched it. Some cried. Others got angry. The truth had finally begun to spread. On a council world called Trivon, a young alien mother held her child close as she watched an old video. It showed a human soldier carrying wounded civilians during a past invasion. He bled, but he didn't stop. The mother whispered they weren't monsters. They were heroes. Meanwhile, in the council chambers, chaos had begun. Many smaller worlds started to leave the council, declaring neutrality or asking to speak with the exiles directly. Trade networks failed. Communication lines were jammed. Council forces were overworked. The Chancellor ordered more ships, more patrols, more control. But it was already too late. The Council's grip was slipping. On the exile command ship, Obsidian Crown, Elias Ward stood before a group of Elise both, human and alien. Yes, alien. Several species who had once worked with Earth had now joined the exiles. A lizard-like leader named Trelvat, once a former council guard, spoke to Elias. I served them for 20 years, he said, but I never forgot how humans saved my people. I will fight with you. Another alien, a small four-armed builder named Nixie, smiled. We don't want war? We want change. You're the change. Elias nodded. We were alone when they cast us out, he said. We're not alone anymore. At the same time, a council spy ship tried to sneak into exile space. They expected resistance. Instead, they found something else. A peaceful farming station. Dozens of human and alien families working together. No guards, no weapons. The spy watched from afar as a human doctor helped a sick alien child. He sent a final report back to the council. They're not building an empire, they're building a future. But not everyone was ready for peace. On a dark moon, Chancellor Victor met in secret with a group of warlords and weapon lords. We still have one more option. He said. He opened a case. Inside was a device glowing red, Project Ashfall. He whispered, a weapon never used before. One warlord leaned forward. You mean to destroy Earth completely? No, said Victor. I mean to erase it from time. Back at Exile Command, Kara Rains brought news to Elias. We've intercepted a signal, she said. Something called Ashfall. We don't know what it is yet, but it's dangerous. Elias's face hardened. They're not finished with us, so we can't be finished with them. He turned to the window, staring into the stars. But we will not strike first. We'll expose them. We'll let the galaxy see their final mistake. Across the galaxy, more voices began to rise. Old friends, quiet allies, former enemies who respected humanity's honor. They all said the same thing. The humans were cast out. But maybe they should lead. The stars above the galactic core shimmered. It was the heart of the galaxy where the Council had ruled for centuries. Great towers floated above gas giants. Fleets moved in perfect formations. Billions lived under the Council's banner. But now, something had changed. Fear had returned. Not because of war, but because of hope all across Council space. Systems were falling quiet not from attacks, but from choice. Worlds were lowering their flags. Ships were refusing orders. People were asking a question Council never wanted to hear. Why was Earth really exiled? And then the signal came. Every screen, every channel, every satellite lit up at once. Elias Ward's face appeared calm, steady, clear. The leaders of the Galactic Council. We are coming, not to destroy, not to conquer, but to speak for all those you silenced. We were cast out. Now we return, and this time we do not come alone. Behind him, the camera pulled back to show thousands of exile ships and new allies. human and alien side by side. Panic swept through the council. Chancellor Victor stood at the war table again. "This is invasion," he shouted, but no fleets were being attacked. No weapons were fired. They were just moving forward, straight toward the galactic core. "Then we'll stop them here," he said. "This is our center. If we lose this, we lose everything." But the people of the core had changed. When the exile fleet arrived, no one fired. Instead, millions stood on platforms and station windows, watching in silence, the sky filled with black ships, smooth, elegant, glowing with silent power. Not one weapon was raised. Not one threat was made. A massive hologram appeared above the core. Elias Ward's voice echoed. "You feared us because we refused to be controlled. You cast us out and erased our name. But we built something better in thee. Dark, not just stronger, wiser. You have one last choice, peace or pride." Council ships began to move. Not toward Earth's fleet, but away from it. Entire crews dropped weapons. Captains opened their ship gates. They had seen enough. Inside the council tower, final meeting took place. Some senators begged for surrender. Others wanted to speak too. The exiles. But Victor refused. "They humiliate us," he growled. "I will not kneel to humans." That was when a quiet voice rose. It was Senator Ryla, one of the oldest. "I remember Earth's doctors healed my son when the council would not." She said, "I remember their soldiers holding the line when others fled." She stood. "You call this weakness? I call it leadership." The council broke. Dozens of members walked out. Others voted to remove Vec, tore from power. He tried to resist, but the age of fear was over. Outside, the Obsidian Crown slowly descended into the capital zone. It was the first human ship allowed to land at the core since exile. Elias Ward stepped out. With him were leaders from 5 alien species friends who had joined Earth in exile. They walked through silent streets, lined with people who had once feared them. Now, they only watched. No one cheered. No one protested. The galaxy was holding its breath. Elias entered the council chamber. No weapons, no army. Just presence. He looked at the new council, the ones who remained. "We don't want to rule you," Elias said. "We want to rebuild what you broke." Together, one senator asked, "What if we say no?" Elias answered simply, "Then we leave." "But the people won't follow you. They've already chosen." And he was right. Across the galaxy, systems declared independence. Colonies asked for Earth's help, not for weapons, but for education, medicine, and trade. The council had lost more than power. They had lost trust. In the final hours of the day, a new banner was raised in the core. It was not Earth's alone. It showed a human hand holding the hand of an alien together, rising toward the stars. A new order had begun, back on Earth. The skies were clear, children played in peace. The people didn't celebrate with noise. They simply smiled, because they knew. They had returned, and they had done it without becoming monsters. The council was broken. Its proud banners had fallen. Its fleet stood silent. Its lies had been uncovered. And Earth had returned. But not with fire, with truth, with unity, with power they could not stop. Chancellor Victor was gone, removed from power. His supporters had vanished into hiding. The new council, led by mixed voices, human and alien, began to rebuild. They invited Earth not as a threat, but as an equal. But peace was still fragile, because deep within the council's old war vaults, something dangerous remained, a secret project, one last weapon in a hidden base on the icy planet Norvex 9. A warning light flashed red. Project Ashfall. Active. It had been left running by a dying order, built from fear and hate. Designed to destroy Earth in case the Council ever lost control, it didn't use bombs or fleets. It used time, back on the Obsidian Crown. Elias Ward received the signal first. He read the decoded message and froze. Kara Rains entered the room. Is it? He looked up. They've activated Ashfall. Kara frowned. I thought it was a myth. No, Elias said. It's real. A device designed to erase Earth from history itself. Her eyes widened. They'd erase everything. Every moment. Every life. Elias nodded. They'd rather wipe us from time than accept the truth. There was no debate. The exiles mobilized immediately. Thousands of ships moved toward Norvex 9. They were joined by former Council allies who now stood with Earth, even alien worlds that once feared humanity now sent aid, but time was running out. Above Norvex 9, the sky cracked with light as the fleet arrived. The defense systems on the planet were ancient but deadly. Auto turrets, drone swarms, time-based shields fought to stop them, but they couldn't match what Earth had become. Human pilots moved like ghosts. A high-guided ship sliced through the defenses. Alien support cruisers repaired damage before it spread. They didn't attack to kill, they attacked to disable. They fought with control, with focus, with power. Born not of hate but of purpose, inside the frozen vault, a human strike team broke through the final gate. They found the Ashfall device, a tall tower of light, spinning faster and faster, drawing energy from dark matter. Shutdown code won't work. "Duh," said the engineer. "It's too far along." Said another. There was only one way. Manual override. And it could only be done from inside Commander. Juno 9 stepped forward. "I'll do it." "No," said Kara. "Let me." But Juno shook her head. "I'm the one who helped design the counter systems. I know the risks." Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. "You don't have to." She looked back with a soft smile. "Yes, I do." And she entered the light. Outside, the fleet held its breath. Then the tower pulsed once, twice, then shattered into cold silence. The device was dead. Earth was safe. Time itself had been protected. The fleet cheered, crossed the stars. People cried and clapped and whispered the same words. They saved us all. Later, a ceremony was held. On Earth, not just for victory, but for those who chose peace, even when war was easier. Elias Ward spoke before millions. We were cast out, alone, hunted. But exile made us stronger, not in weapons, but in heart. We chose not to destroy. We chose to return with hope. And now, we choose to lead together. A new galactic charter was signed. It wasn't ruled by fear. It was built on cooperation, led not by one race, but by all, and deep in the stars, on a quiet outpost station, a young alien child stared up at a statue. It showed a human and an alien side by side. Looking at the stars, the child asked, "Who are they?" The father smiled. "They're the ones who came back with power no one could stop, because they used it to do what was right." In the end,